welcome. My name is Kelly Anderson, and this is Fanimated, an animation fan podcast where we get a chance to geek out about our favorite animated media. Today, Brynn Berryhill and Nathan Knobloch are joining me to reminisce over one of the most popular anime of our childhoods. Pokémon the series began in 1997 and is currently still running with over 1,000 episodes in the books. Before we begin this Poke Madness, I want to give a huge shout out to the Fanimated crew for voting on today's episode topic and supporting the show. You can also gain voting rights and extra bonus episodes by going to patreon.com/Fanimated. Now here's your spoiler warning for the first season of Pokémon and the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Let's get started and let's get animated. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Prepare for trouble.
And make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Nathan.
Brynn.
Team Rocket blasts off at the speed of light.
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Meow.
That's right.
We're here to steal your podcast.
Oh no! Oh no! What am I gonna do? I need a Pokemon!
I need a hero.
Oh no! My podcast has been overrun by Brynn and Nathan.
Yes, that's right. We have come to make sure that all of your podcasts has thoroughly become ours, and then suddenly we will rise through the ranks somehow within our evil organization.
Giovanni, so pleased.
Unless your podcast is having some trouble, and then we're going to be very, very supportive of it and make sure that it keeps going, and then we'll continue to try to steal it.
I was not expecting that, and that was brilliant. Oh man, I need to have you two on the show together more often. Two troublemakers here on the show today to talk about Pokemon the series, if you haven't already caught on. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you guys here talking about Pokemon because I don't have the same nostalgic connection to the show.
I don't know what you mean.
You mean this wasn't your whole childhood? Or?
No, what would give you that idea? The idea that I had to have lyrics up so that I knew when to stop because I know this whole thing for rote but not where to stop.
I've been practicing that for about 2 days.
I could do this. This is the Team Rocket motto is the right amount of time for how long you should be washing your hands. So I can do this for rote all the way through. But then we decided that I was going to be James, and I'm like, oh no, I have no idea where to start.
How long have you guys been planning to take over my podcast?
These things need time and devious plans.
I think yesterday? No, the day before?
It was a couple days ago. Nathan was like, Brynn. So we're totally doing this,
gosh.
right? And I was like, absolutely. I'm just disappointed I didn't think of it first.
You guys are brilliant. I love this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, and yes. You two are obviously big fans of Pokemon.
Yep.
Just a bit.
So I want to know, and I'm sure our listeners would want to know, where did the Pokemon obsession start for you?
Ooh. 3rd grade. For me, personally, 2nd grade. Just kidding. 2nd grade, we would so we had walkers, people who would walk home from school, and then we would have bussers. And the walkers left at some point, depending on when the buses were there or weren't there or whatever, when it was safe. So I would start watching it while I was at school, while like bussers were being called, and then when walkers were called, I would run home to try to catch the rest of it. And I vividly remember that as something that was like very universal in my class, but then also like something that I absolutely loved. Who doesn't want to live in a world of Pokemon? Like,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's where it started. How about you, Nathan?
So I have a very long and extensive storytelling of Pokemon.
Oh, I can't wait.
You can catch it all in the previous Pokemon episode that Kelly and I did about Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield, yeah.
I think I talked for almost like 15 to 20 minutes straight before Kelly cut me off, but like the gist of it is my parents were very anti-Pokemon growing up, so I would always be going like over to friends' houses to sneak in episodes or hanging out with my cousins to view it. And then eventually we got the games, and so we were able to play through all of the games, but I've never really dedicated myself to the TV show. But through the games, through the, zeitgeist that is Pokemon, you catch everything. I know who the characters are. I spent the last week just having a ball with the nostalgia of watching season 1 on Netflix. It's been so happy that you know these stories because of like experience them through just existing in the world of Pokemon, but to actually watch them again and just get a different view of them has been really fun this past week.
Whereas I don't know if I ever sat down and watched Pokemon, except like I think once in college I tried to binge it, and it was like the 5th Team Rocket bursting in. I was like, nope, we're done. So this time I took it in tiny bits. But I started playing the games because it was the only video game that I played as a child. Like literally, I had a Game Boy for Pokemon. And that is what I would play when I was having a nebulizer, because I was asthmatic, and oftentimes I would need a nebulizer, which is this big contraption that like pretty much helps you to breathe in steroids. And it's boring and it's loud and it's not possible to like watch TV during it. So I would play Pokemon while I was doing it, and it was very soothing. And so that was like a really big part of my ADHD brain being able to calm down for 20 minutes to take a nebulizer. Yeah.
Yes. So obviously you both have a lot of history and enthusiasm for both the show and the games, and everything in between. And I of course like listened to the Pokemon Sword and Shield episode. That is basically my only connection with the franchise. And of course the handful of episodes that I watched for this episode. We also had said we were going to watch the first movie, of which I also failed at finishing watching that. So sorry.
Pokemon movie, The Hypocrisy.
Pokemon movie. This got serious.
Oh my god, I can't wait to start talking about this movie because I had so many feelings through it. Like rewatching it.
Yes.
And I had like blanked out most of the movie, and then watching it again, I was like, oh dear, they showed this to children?
Right, exactly. But the funny thing about the movie is that it made complete sense to me as a child, and now as an adult, I'm like, what happened?
I completely agree. That sentiment felt it as we watched as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I am so looking forward to talking about this. To start, I would really love to hear a brief, we usually go through a brief synopsis of the shows that we're talking about. But since there's 2 of you, I want to hear both of your synopsises.
Of the show?
I would say the series in general. And I'm going to time both of you. And so you get 30 seconds each to give us a synopsis of the entire, just like as much as you can say, because Pokemon is huge, right? So give us the main points.
All 26, 23 seasons. Brynn,
Nathan, you go first.
Oh, me go first. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will start the timer whenever you start talking.
Okay. So, Pokemon is a story about a young boy and his pet mouse who gets tricked into doing field work by a professor who's named after a tree. The young boy is actually horrible at doing his job and fails forward for, I don't know, something like 1,000 episodes in his travels. He must defeat 8 adults who have trained their Pokemon to amazing abilities, and thus he fails every single time.
Done. Okay. That was brilliant. And his pet mouse. Great.
Brynn, what is your synopsis?
All right, are we ready?
I will start when you start.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Ash who fell into a coma. As he was in his coma, he had a dream that was an extended version of what was going on. He meets a little mouse named Pikachu, which is actually when he is being shocked to be resuscitated. And every time that he feels the shock of Pikachu, he's trying to be resuscitated. As he goes through his dream, he never ages because, of course, he only has one understanding of himself, which is when he went into that coma. We actually have no idea how long he's been in it, but many of them.
Well, I guess we wanted to jump right into conspiracy theories, but
okay, but the entire series makes sense if you look at it through the lens of Ash being in a coma. Okay.
That would explain a lot.
No, I've heard that all of the conspiracy theories before. They do make a lot of sense. But I don't want to turn this into a conspiracy theory Pokemon podcast.
Why not? It's fun.
Oh, man. Well done, both of you. Absolutely
Thank you.
brilliant. Yes, Pokemon is the story of Ash and Pikachu and Ash's quest to become, the best there ever was.
A Pokemon master.
Despite him being at this for a week and the adults having been at this for longer than he's been alive, he still actually beats them.
But here's the thing, he never does. He never actually beats a single gym leader.
I know.
I mean,
they pity him and give him badges.
Ash's participation trophy of Pokemon mastership.
Okay, but Surge, how did he get the badge from Surge?
He outquicked the Pokemon, and then Raichu ran into a wall, from what I remember.
That's right. Because, the outquicking Raichu is, I think Surge was the first legitimate one that he had, because,
Sure.
teaching Pikachu to do quick attack is, a legitimate thing, but the rest of it's absolute bunk. You're right. He should not have gotten any of those badges.
just like with every other anime protagonist, he, wins the day through the determination and the power of friendship. So,
right.
It all works out for Ash.
Well, and luckily for him, he was in the 90s, so he didn't have to actually, be quality. He was the beginning. I mean, he's quality, but he was the beginning of all of the tropes. The tropes are based on Ash, essentially. Ash was at the beginning of all of these tropes being created about kid shows. So, if kid shows are made now, they try to, stay away from the tropes of Pokemon sometimes, or at least make more sense than, we should be friends and battle to the death.
Death. Please be clear. There's no death in Pokemon.
And battle to knockout with multiple concussions that suddenly magically get better when
they have universal health care for Pokemon.
That's fair. Oh, I like that.
The PCs, they're always free. You never
That's
gotta pay
true.
to
You don't
heal
have to
your
pay.
Pokemon.
Because that would
man.
be inhumane if you had to pay to make sure that you were okay, you and your Pokemon were okay. That would be just wrong, wouldn't it?
Oh, man. Guys, it's great. In my preparation for today's episode, I put together a short little quiz, and we're going to see which of you have the most Pokemon knowledge.
Oh boy.
Let me just say from the beginning of This was very interesting to put together, being as I know nothing about Pokemon. Or very little. And so I don't even know if these are good questions. I do think some of these are going to be pretty easy, and then some of them are not. So
Great.
some of them I just grabbed from internet quizzes, and some of them I just pulled from the Pokemon Wikipedia page.
All right.
So
you want
here-
us to buzz in or something?
What I want to do is I want each of you, I'll give you a little bit of time, and then I want each of you to write down your answer before we share, and then we'll take turns answering.
Okay.
So that you guys, I trust you to be accountable for yourself. And I want everyone listening at home to try it too and let us know what you get. Or let me know if this is a terrible quiz or if I got something wrong, because that it could also be the case. All right. Your first question. At what gym does Ash have his first gym battle?
I'm writing down all of the information I know. Do you want the Pokemon and levels?
It should be a pretty short answer. Okay, Brynn, you can go first.
Okay, so the gym leader was Brock. The type was Brock type. The gym name was Pervingtown Gym.
Okay, Nathan, what's your answer? For what gym?
The gym is in Pewter City. It's the Pewter City gym. And you got
I
the
have
boulder
written
back.
down Pewter, so...
But it's Brock. Any gym that has Brock as the leader should be called Pervtown Gym. Just saying.
I'm giving Nathan a point. All right, ready for question 2?
All right, let's go.
What is the name of the first legendary Pokemon Ash saw? All right, Nathan goes first this time.
The first legendary Pokemon Ash saw is Ho-Oh.
And Brynn?
Ho-Oh.
That is correct.
But also, I want to point out that all of the adults around him were like, oh, it's probably just a sparrow. Like, don't even worry about it. We're not just... Obviously, you're never going to see a legendary Pokemon. Pat, pat, pat. Also, we could all see that as the first time that he stepped into the light. He saw the light and towards his death.
Oh, more
And
conspiracy
he-
theories? Oh, boy.
Brynn!
And he was persuaded out of dying by the adults around him.
And here I thought this was a fun little Pokemon quiz.
Just saying. Okay, continue.
All right, number 3. What do Pikachu Pokemon evolve into?
My favorite Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, then, Brynn, you get to go first.
Raichu. Raichu.
Yep, Raichu.
Also, I just want to say that the Alolan Raichus are absolutely chemically adorable.
are very
They're a
cute.
psychic type as well as a electric type, and they float on their tail like it is a cloud or a surfboard, and it is adorable.
Surfing Pikachu. The iconic Surfing Pikachu.
It's so
Surfing
cute. Okay.
The iconic Surfing Pikachu is a Pokemon card, but you could actually teach Surf to your Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow, even though it's electric type and it's a water move. And so you could surf on your Pikachu through the water and beat all of the water type Pokemon. Oh, Surfing Pikachu.
You just kind of like he dips in and then chew, and then all of the Magikarp come up already perfectly filleted. No wonder they're not worried about food.
All right, you guys are doing well. On to number 4. What is the signature move of a Bulbasaur? Are you hesitating?
I'm
There
just
are
writing
two.
down his entire move set, so I don't know.
Maybe I need to give you guys less time to write. These should be pretty. You guys don't need to write an essay.
There are two that really come to mind. Nathan, do you want to go first this time though?
Nathan, it is your turn to go
The
first.
two that come to mind that I think Brynn is also thinking of is either Razor Leaf or Vine Whip, is what Ash's Bulbasaur always throws out. But he
Yeah.
also
You guys
knows...
both right now need to circle one. One of them.
Oh,
You have to have one answer.
okay.
Okay, if it's
If there's only one, Brynn, you got yours?
yeah,
I'm going to go with Vine Whip.
so am I.
You are both wrong.
What?
It was Razor Leaf. Although, because I did pull these off the internet, you can contest that.
Yeah,
So-
let's contest that because here's
Yeah.
the thing.
Roselia
Leaf
knows
is
Razor Leaf. A bunch of Pokemon know Razor Leaf.
Yeah, and there aren't as many Pokemon who have vines to whip.
Mm-hmm.
And
Only
so
Tangela and Tangle Growth.
Yeah, and so they would be able to do it, but when you think Bulbasaur, Razor Leaf is the one that I thought of first, but if we're talking about a signature move, it would be using its anatomy, wouldn't it?
I don't know. It also has leaves, so
Okay.
whatever.
Well,
it's a draw. Moving
It's
on.
a draw. Yeah.
It's a draw, so I'm just going to give you both the point. And listeners, let us know what the signature move of a Bulbasaur is.
The signature move of Bulbasaur is being super cute.
Aww.
And a little bit of a jerk.
Only Ash is Bulbasaur.
All right, on to question number 5. Who does Ash defeat to win his first league championship? This came out of the
Wow.
Wikipedia page.
He's only done this once. We're at a very big disadvantage because this only happened last year.
That's so unfair. We were talking about the first series though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what his rival was in Sun and Moon, and I can't remember.
Because they're all the same.
All right, well, here's 2 wrong answers for you, Kelly. I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
you with Wally.
All right.
Wally.
Brynn?
So, Professor Oak, but there's a reason. Professor Oak was actually he beat the Elite Four at some point. He was the top trainer at some point in the series, in the past. So I'm gonna say Professor Oak.
All right. The answer I have is Gideon.
Little Gideon,
Little Gideon.
little Gideon,
From
little
Gravity
me.
Falls. Little me.
That's the only Gideon
What
I
would
know.
Little Gideon's Pokemon team look like?
Oh, the pig. I can't remember.
Spoink or Embor?
Yeah, Spoink. Nope,
Okay.
Spoink. Spoink and a Wobbuffet because they Wobbuffet. They actually hide in their tail. Their body is inflated. So it's an inflatable tumble around, boxing thing, but
Yeah.
it's not him. Wobbuffets are in their tail hiding, so I feel like that's very Gideon-esque.
Yes, I agree. Awesome. We're halfway through so far.
Oh boy.
Brynn has 3 points. Nathan has 4. And I don't know, how am I doing on this? How's the difficulty rating?
Well, it was fine until that last one.
Yeah, because the last one was not
This
a
last
classic question.
All right. Well, just get ready for
Oh no.
some more.
Oh god.
On to a few more. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
How you feel. Number 6. Who originally owned Ash's Infernape?
I put Professor Rowan. I think that's the 4th gen professor.
All right.
I'm putting Professor Oak again because he's got to be good for something at some point. Sending children off on their destiny journey, making them think that they can actually be good at something for that adults have been working towards for their entire lives and building up their confidence and just shattering it. He's got to be good for something.
Oh man. Okay. According to this internet quiz, it's Paul.
Who's Paul?
I don't know.
So you can see where
My
our
quiz
knowledge
is getting worse.
our knowledge definitely drops off at a certain point. There is a definite drop-off point.
All right. Let's see how this one does. Number 7. Complete this phrase. There are 4 lines in this stanza. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight. What is that last line? I'll repeat. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight. What is that last line? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with team.
No. Shoot, now I have to start over again.
You guys are giving me looks of blank stares. Do I need to tell you how many words it is?
The only motto we know is the Team Rocket motto, and this isn't it.
I could do the first song. I will travel across the land, searching. I could do that one.
I almost picked the Team Rocket song, but I didn't. That would have been great. Brynn, you go first. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight.
Your clock we will clean.
Beautiful. Perfect. Love it. Magical. Okay. Nathan, come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight.
Team Rocket's blasting off again!
That's it. You win.
No, wait.
Episode over. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The last line, it's always been our dream.
That makes sense. I like mine better. I like ours better.
I do. I like your guys' a lot. All right. Okay, just a few more questions.
Oh, boy.
Number 8. Throughout both the anime and games, how many total Pokemon have been introduced? I need a number.
I should know
a specific
this
number.
Right.
And this is, of course, as of January 16th, 2021, because it will change.
Nathan, you got a number?
It's right below 900, I think. So I went with 874.
Okay, Brynn?
I went with 1,123.
It's 898.
Oh!
I'm so
Nice.
close.
Nathan's closest.
It's right
Yeah,
under
Nathan,
900.
You get that point.
Yeah, because I
Awesome.
also thought that it was like close to 1,000 when the
Yeah.
newest game was coming out, and then someone was like, "No, it's not," and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh no, it's not. It's like right around 900."
I really thought that it was like 1,000 some odd. Yeah, that's fair. You did your research. Fine.
Well done, guys. These last 2 also are not common Pokemon knowledge, but I thought were interesting, so we're going to talk about them.
Oh, good.
Number 9, Pokemon, the first movie, sits in the top 10 highest grossing anime movies worldwide. What is its exact rank in top 10? A number between 1 and 10.
Okay. I got to guess.
All right. Brynn, do you go first?
10.
I'm guessing 7. It's higher than that. It's higher than
8.
10. Ah!
Oh, you still win that though. I was thinking 9. I was thinking of saying 9, but you
It's
you
the
got
9th
closer.
question. That's too much number logic, Sonia.
Man, it was set. Is that the first one? The first Pokemon movie?
Yes, the first one.
I remember Burger King had those golden Pokemon like little tablet things. Do you remember those? They were so cool, and I wanted one so bad. I think I got one. It was like my prized treasure for like
those
a little
came
while.
in those like giant Pokeballs too,
Yeah,
right?
and-
Like you'd open it up and it was like a gold card.
And
you're
I
like,
know
"Oh."
they also, I can't remember if it was this movie or the movie after it, but if you went to it in the theaters, they gave you a limited edition Pokemon card. It was a Mew.
Ancient Mew.
Ancient Mew. Was it this
I got
one?
I got a couple Ancient Mews probably somewhere.
Okay, can I tell you, I had an entire binder full of Pokemon cards, and my mother gave them away.
Yeah,
All
mine,
of them.
Oh no.
mine have been given away to my cousins who are now also going through the Pokemon phase of early childhood.
And I was looking because, and this is the highest grossing anime films worldwide, and the first Pokemon movie is also, like, it's just one of the oldest to be up so high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1998 and it's still in the top 10. So there's that. Great, guys, you're doing so well. I have
we're
another
not.
question for you.
Yeah.
The final question.
Ba, ba, ba.
But is it the final question?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Number 10. The Pokemon anime has been animated by the studio OLM Inc. since 1997. What does OLM stand for?
Is this in English or in Japanese?
It is in English.
Oh, in
Okay.
Good
English?
question.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Good
was...
question.
Hmm.
I will also give you a little hint that there is an "and" in that. So it'll be 4 words total.
I think I got it. You want to go first, Nathan?
Yeah, I was trying to find a funny answer and I couldn't come up with anything.
I got you.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
I'll be the straight man. I think it's optics and lights media.
Ooh, interesting. Love it. Great. Brynn?
Only legendaries and magnanimousopolies.
Oh my
See,
goodness.
I got you. I couldn't be the straight man if I tried for several reasons. There are so many reasons.
Well, Nathan did get 1 word right. And that's
Oh,
light. It is Oriental Light and Magic Inc. All right. Brynn currently is sitting at 4 points. Nathan is at 6. I did give you both an extra point for your wonderful complete the phrase answers. And I have one more bonus question because
boy.
I
Where's my pencil?
love, extra credit. So,
Extra credit.
credit question. What is your favorite Pokemon?
Can you make the sound of your favorite Pokemon?
Oh,
That's
no.
even better. All right. Brynn, lead the way.
Right.
Nathan, what do you got?
Charizard. Charizard.
Well done, guys. My quiz was a little all over the place, and you both did well. You both get A pluses, and it was a
Aw,
participation
pity.
grade. So
Just like Ash, we get to pass Kelly's gym.
here's your badge.
Awesome. A Fanimated badge.
I earned this. I can't
So
believe
great.
I did it. We can't either, honey. We can't either.
Oh, man. All right. There's obviously so much to talk about with the Pokemon universe and anime. To start off, I just want to say, watching this as someone who's never watched Pokemon before, it's super dramatic.
Yeah,
Like, first
it is.
episode, Pikachu's like dying.
Right.
It's like self-sacrifice for this kid I've only just met. Like, what's going on?
But also the electrocution. Like, it's funny in animation terms, but like if Ash wasn't already brain damaged at the beginning of his journey, I guarantee you it got worse along the way. Jeez.
That's the other thing too, right? Like I'm also we talk like what are the laws about like kids going out to be like their Pokemon journey or whatever? Like I'm sorry, Ash's mom is just okay with this. Like excuse
Okay.
me.
I wish that
You're
we could
10.
do that, though. Like, wouldn't it be so wonderful if even the bad guys who were accosting the 10-year-olds weren't actually going to do anything bad, and you could be sure that your kid was going to be okay? What a wonderful world to live in. You know?
You just fight with Pokemon instead of fighting each other.
Right, you just
that kind of concept.
Right. But like even like but the if I were 10 and I were able to go out on my own and even like go to the next town by myself, wouldn't that be so cool?
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon is this like escapism aspect of it, of like having these like magical pets. Like my favorite Pokemon is Charizard. He's a dragon. Like I want to have a dragon. That's awesome. And like, there's a bunch of like, suspension of disbelief of just like, oh yeah, this is very normal for like a kid to go out to become a Pokemon trainer. And like you meet people just like Brock wanted to become a breeder, but he couldn't leave his town because he had to keep like care of his like family. But then they can go and travel and it's like normalized in their world, which is amazing. And that's like something you watching it, you're like, I want to be in that world. I wish I could be in that world all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I totally remember in recess, like having imaginary Pokemon, like thinking about which Pokemon I would have and how they would play with me and different things like that. Like that was something that was very soothing to my elementary self and like my own self. Hi, little baby snake that's in my pocket right now. Are you my little pocket pet? Are you my little pocket monster? Like, I literally have a snake that I have in my pocket all the time, and I talk to him. Like, he's my real-life Pokemon, just saying. But that's why Pokemon Go was so exciting. Why so many people lost their hats over it. Because, like, finally, we get an augmented reality where the Pokemon, like... It was like my schoolyard dreams had finally been made into reality of having this virtual reality where Pokemon were just walking around and I could be a trainer. And I have so many other thoughts about Pokemon Go. We can go into that at a different time. But like I really loved that, like you said, escapism of Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely.
That it was fundamentally safe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was watching the episodes again, I had forgotten how slapsticky it was. Like I have been watching these animes with big fights and like everything's so dramatic and like even though it's like very entertaining and wonderful, but I had never watched like a slapsticky cartoon for children in a really long time. And I was just like, oh my god, the whole point of this episode is like just to dig on Misty and then everyone blows up. And I'm just like, what is this? Like I was comparing it to like the Tom and Jerry of our generation. Like it's that sort of like, bonk into the wall, Ash is electrocuted, Brock keeps getting like flamethrower to the face, Team Rocket blasts off. Like
very rightfully, Brock is getting flamethrower to the face. I don't see that level of brutal slapstick anymore. We've really softened things up, so it's really funny that like you can see that stark difference of like the original Cinderella story to like even Pokemon's much less brutal than the Cinderella story, but then you look at Pokemon and like what they're doing now, even the Pokemon that they produce now, it doesn't have any bite to it. Like it's not as visceral as it was back then. There's not like a huge amount of slapstick, and we continue to soften things and pad things for our I almost said students for our kids in the media, and it's like, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, like I was gonna ask, what, I don't know, would you want more of that, or what's like, I mean, I think the basic premise is like getting rid of more violence or things that they're showing kids that they would want to imitate.
I think that there's a certain place where it's necessary and there's a certain place where it's not. I think that slapstick is becoming a lost art if you let it slide by. It is a way to express something that is funny, especially if you understand that it is fake violence. What do you guys think about that like that difference between slapstick and the real violence? And do you think that taking away slapstick makes the real violence different in any way?
Well, in my watching of Pokemon, the absence of real violence is very prevalent to me. Like Pokemon fighting each other, and you say they get, till they're knocked out, but still watching a lot of the battles, the trainers are like returning their Pokemon before they really get hurt. The trainers are like, oh, you're, stuck up against a wall, like I'm just going to pull you out right away.
Yeah.
And so there's like this actual absence of violence in all of the Pokemon. And so that I think sticks out more to me when I was watching it all. And then that kind of like also going, if we jump into the movie, the actual violence that Mewtwo is causing is so much more impactful and destructive in my like idea, because he's not following like these like rules of engagement that Pokemon battle have. Like it is actual violence. Where in all of like the Ash's gym battles, most of the time someone is like, I give up, and it's never going to like a final like ending blows. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be more helpful to say that there's a scale of violence. Like slapstick, battle violence, and death violence, perhaps?
Yeah. Like a Pokemon battle isn't a fight to the death. And then in the movie, it's no longer a Pokemon battle. That's points.
Yeah. It's battle violence versus like death violence, which is what they were kind of like gearing towards. Yeah.
The question, as someone who doesn't know as much, do the other movies go that far, or is it just like, oh, we're gonna start out really, really strong with the first movie being the most terrifying?
Mewtwo Strikes Back is very different tonally, I feel like, than the series and the show. And then a lot of the other movies are always like focused around the legendaries. And so it's more of just like we have to go and either save the day for the legendary or against the legendary.
Right. Okay.
And that's sort of like, some of them are like disaster movies. Some of them are more like rescue missions, but like Mewtwo is like a very morally ambiguous, like high morals kind of show. I don't know exactly how to describe that without going through the whole summary, but
I'm trusting that the listeners either know it or will go watch it now.
Okay, so you have this movie where they show battle violence, and they set up battle violence in Pokemon, as we're kind of coining it. And they set up that, you know, everybody's having fun when they battle their Pokemon. And like, let's talk about the world of Pokemon, though. That is still violence. Even slapstick is still violence. Battle violence is violence. And then we get to this whole Mewtwo thing where he has like mind control over Nurse Joy. So Mewtwo starts on his little soliloquy about how nobody's making it out of here because all of you have enslaved Pokemon and forced them to fight against each other. And you, Pokemon, have been brainwashed by your trainers and are sticking by them. And that's the only reason why you're fighting for them. So all of you have to go. And I'm like, wow, that just got super meta. He's got a point. I don't remember this. And then immediately afterwards, you see that he has genetically engineered Pokemon to fight for him, and somehow that's better? And I'm like, oh, what? He had a great point for like 3.2 seconds, and then it was gone.
Yeah. But like, that's sort of the point to the viewer as well. And like, as the movie progresses, they're like essentially teaching Mewtwo like essentially the difference between the battling to the death and like the friendship that obviously friendship wins the day between Ash and Pikachu. Like it's because it's the solution to every problem in Pokemon. And like the tears, the magical tears, which cry every time. Still cry when I watched it on Thursday. Like it's just so poignant. But yeah,
that's awesome.
And I really appreciated that they actually, like, at the beginning of the movie, this was lost on me as a kid. They had said that the last time we had a storm like this, the only way to save the survivors were the tears of Pokemon. And in that, when they said it, it sounded very much like a myths and legends sort of thing, something that you would hear from like a fairy tale. And then it set up the stage for this is the stuff of fairy tales. This is the stuff of myths and legends that is happening right now. And it almost gave it more validity to me. Of course, I still laughed, but
the foreshadowing was like very on the nose if you knew it was going on. But as a kid, you never picked it up. You were just like, this is just the language that Pokemon uses.
That's the great thing about going back and watching things that you just like watched so much as a kid, and then as an adult, you're like, oh, I see. It's so great. And yeah, I'm really, I don't know. That's why it's so fun to like go back and even with, yeah, like you still having a strong emotional reaction to the story that you've seen multiple times is like, yeah, that's the stuff. That's the nostalgic stuff right there.
I mean, I cried too, but I was laughing through those tears this time. I appreciated. So one thing about the movie is I did appreciate the point that they were making, that like there's literally no difference between you except the most evolved ones, like the Venusaur and Blastoise and Charizard had like markings on them to show that they were the genetic copies. But I really did like the point that they were making, that like we're not different. Stop it. Stab it. Like, especially in 2000s, like with the 2000s coming around, like that was a really big thing that we needed as well with 9/11 around the bend and everything like that. But there was I really liked that it got to me as a kid. I as an adult am too far into my head and my understanding of the world, but like as a kid I got it. It was visceral that the Pokemon were fighting each other supposedly to the death, and they were legitimately hurting each other, and they were like sad about it. And it was they did a great job of making it a different tone and a different quality of violence. Like it wasn't battle violence anymore, it was death violence. And I think they did a great job of that.
Yeah, I like what starts the tears for me is when Pikachu refuses to fight. That's the turning point of that entire movie. Is Ash's Pikachu is every single Pokemon there has like a clone version of itself that it's fighting, and in all of the versions, like the non-cloned Pokemon are losing, and Pikachu just like won't even fight. He's just like, no, this is wrong. I'm not gonna even participate. And it's just so sad to watch the two little mouse Pokemon try and like beat each other up, and Pikachu just going like, no, this is wrong. No, this is wrong. And then Ash tries to save Pikachu and then gets turned to stone, and then the tears save him and everyone is crying. But like that point of Pikachu refusing to fight, I think is incredibly powerful and important.
Well, and especially in a kid's show that's about varying levels of violence, like the non-violence spoke volumes of what Pikachu was doing. And I think that's really cool, you know. Yeah. Although the song that they had for the beginning of that fight
didn't age well. Very 90s pop.
You come into this death battle scene where they're showing that they are like, we've gone from battle violence to death violence. Da, 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 and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know how to handle this.
Oh my god, yeah, it was weird.
90s.
I couldn't get into it until after that song was done, and then I was like, okay, now I can re-enter the reality. I could suspend my reality again. Suspend my disbelief by that song.
Anything else on the movie specifically?
Go watch it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's still a mess, but go watch it.
And I think even besides that song, I think that it aged very well. I think that the animation's decent. I think that the way that they told the story of battle violence versus death violence is very well done. They used most of the tools they could have to tell that story, and I think that it's worth watching, definitely.
Going back to the series, can we just talk about Ash and Misty and Brock in general? And just like this trio of just like,
they're like,
I don't know.
They're the original Chaos Crew. And
yes!
It's wonderful. They're all so iconic, and they all play like such tropey roles that fundamentally like stick in anime to this day.
Yes.
I love all the motifs. To just introduce all the characters, Ash is your main character. He's like a 10-year-old boy who leaves Pallet Town. Brock, who we did in the quiz, is the first gym leader that he fights and sort of defeats. Brock isn't interested in Pokemon training. He's interested in being a breeder. He's also girl crazy. We won't talk. You can talk about that later. And then Misty is the girl, but she's also the water gym leader in the second city in Celadon. And so
or one of them.
Well, she in the game she's the gym leader. In the anime, her sisters are the gym leaders, but they are too busy being synchronized divers to be the gym leader. So
they're basically mermaids, but they're very full of themselves. Like, I think that's super cool. If you were a water gym leader, you could also be a professional mermaid at the same time. Like, let's talk about this. This would be awesome.
Just being a gym leader would be awesome.
I mean, I was going to say, also, how are 10-year-olds gym leaders? Like, what's...
it was a family thing, and also I think she's more of 16 probably.
I don't really know their ages. They are in this like
Shouldn't
nebulous.
They all be the same age though, because they're all friends.
Brock isn't.
Brock
is an adult.
Sort of. Brock is like young man.
What is this crew?
Because he was taking care of his brothers and sisters,
right?
When he was gym leader before his dad came back.
Pretty much the father figure for all of his brothers and sisters, and being very responsible doing that. And then his dad came back and was like, go live your life. And he's like, okay, bye. I think, 10-year-old me absolutely shipped Ash and Misty. 29-year-old me doesn't. And that's like 29-year-old me is like, okay, Misty's probably at least a few years older than Ash, if not more.
Yeah.
10-year-old me was like, oh, they're about the same age. She might be a year older than him, and it's so cute. It was one of my first ships, and I'm like, oh, honey, I'm so glad your taste in men evolved. But
well, like, see, their relationship is like so antagonistic. It's like it's like the boy on the playground that's pulling the girl's hair. Like, that's like most of their interactions is sort of just like Ash dunking on Misty.
So let's talk about how media informs young women about how men are supposed to treat them and what a crush looks like.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, we don't have to get super deep into it, but like, honestly, a lot of media is geared towards that. Like, let's talk about Harry Potter very briefly.
I was just about to mention it in my head. I was thinking.
Okay, go. Like, I was the only one of my friends who did not ship Hermione and Ron because Ron's a jerk.
Ron's a total. I can't say it on the podcast.
I know. I'm trying to censor myself right now. And and so the thing is, but J.K. Rowling shipped them together. Hermione ended up with Ron, even though he has done nothing but antagonize her, insult her, and the only time that any of us can read into him liking her is when he gives her a backhanded compliment. Or says that he's jealous of her. This is what we were raised to believe is a good ship.
No, boo.
Right, it's not. But like that's like a very recent thing that we're starting to tell young women, no, this is not healthy. This isn't okay. But like back then when I was, 10 or 12, that was kind of what society had said is how you can tell that a boy likes you. If he pulls your hair, if he, pays you any attention, if he's like, he doesn't know how to handle his own feelings like you do, so just put up with it, and now we know that that's that's just a load of awfulness of
it really is.
So it makes sense to me that my young 10-year-old self was like, oh, that's so cute. And now my 29-year-old self is like, honey.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about Harry Potter.
Yes.
I feel the same.
Yes. The thing is, like, boys have been taught the same thing. Boys are the ones that this was really targeted towards as well. Like, boys have been told this and have been taught that the way that you treat a girl is this, or you have to play the game, or you should ignore her some, and then she'll want you even more, and different things like that, when it's like communication is the best way to handle anything. And
you respecting not even a girl, but like any other human being, like that's not how you do respect people.
Exactly. And so you have this awful mix of girls being told that this is how a boy acts when a boy acts like trash around you when he likes you, and you should, like, that's how you know that he likes you, and that is an acceptable way to act around somebody that you like, and it's just not okay.
Yeah.
Life.
90s cartoons. You know.
Little iffy.
So I see it in 90s movies and films and different things like that, and it's important to point it out because people don't realize that it was there or that it was a problem because they grew up with it too, right? Mm-hmm. So, which brings us to Brock.
Yep.
Who is it's an anime trope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see it in a lot of animes, this perv archetype.
A perv character.
Yeah, and when you put that into a child's media, it becomes problematic. And they did it in My Hero Academia, too.
I think it's problematic always.
No, it is, but it's even more problematic because adults can have their as long as the person is ostracized to some extent, adults can understand things. Children are still looking at the media and gaining their cues on how to act in the world. And so if you have this leader, this father figure almost, because Brock's the one who makes dinner. Brock's the one who actually takes care of everybody. And you see that he's, being a perv, and he doesn't really get talked to about it, and he doesn't have any character development about it. It shows kids that it is acceptable for you to be that way. It probably won't get anywhere, but it's acceptable to be that way, and it's not.
He does get rejected every single time.
Which is the only saving grace. But
and does he respect the refusals?
He's pouty about them.
Yes, I don't think he antagonizes the women ever, though.
Okay. But what about catcalling? How is this different from catcalling?
It is very similar to catcalling, yeah.
Yeah, catcallers don't expect for anything to really happen, but they think that it is their right to go ahead and make those comments or to push themselves onto women, and it makes the emotional energy, it puts the emotional energy to say no and to have composure on the women. So yes. Imagine the collective emotional energy he has forced onto these poor women throughout the series.
It's been going on for decades.
Right.
1,000 episodes.
Right.
Every Nurse Joy, every Officer Jenny,
every random trainer,
helping
them. If they have a femme name, they're getting hit on. Right. And so I think it makes sense why we have so many people who still catcall when you look at the media, and it's approval and allowance of it happening again and again and again. Even if he gets rejected, he's still doing it, and nobody ever sits him down and says, you need to stop, like in a legitimate way. So that's my problem with Brock.
Yeah. He's the trope. He's that trope. And I what was like the modern comparison of Brock in Demon Slayer, the Zemzada guy. What is his name? Electricity guy.
Zenitsu.
He's doing the exact same thing this year. And I'm like, I am so sick of this. Mm-hmm. Like, Brock did it for decades. Like, just please stop.
Because nobody sits them down and tells them to stop, right?
It's true. Yeah. It's just like
yeah.
the same archetype comes up all the time. And it's like their one defining trait. It's just like, okay. At least in My Hero Academia, everyone acknowledges it and is completely against it.
Right, and they actually tell him, you need to stop. Like, he is outcast from the main group because he's gross. And that is acknowledged by the girls and the boys of the show, and it is treated with disgust.
But it's still there.
It's still there, but it's treated with the appropriate disgust. That you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to find yourself in the social situation of that guy. I wish he weren't there, but it is a better way to handle it than other animes have handled it. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite episode? Do you want to throw into that section?
Yeah, what's your favorite episode, guys?
I don't know. Nathan, do you have an answer to that?
I got 2 that I was watching. I watched about the first 30, 40-ish episodes of season 1 for this rewatch, and you gotta give it up to Squirtle Squad. Iconic moments. Just put a sunglasses on that Squirtle. Just having Ash save the day. Reuniting with friends. Amazing. Squirtle Squirt. Just amazing. Absolute. Fantastic. Another episode that I really loved watching that was there was a Diglett episode where there was a man trying to build a dam that was going to flood a forest, and so it was very like environmentalist type things. And so the Diglets were trying to destroy all of his constructions, and so he had hired a bunch of Pokemon trainers to come and get rid of the Diglets. And so Ash's rival Gary shows up for the first time in the show and is just absolutely
Second time, isn't it?
Well, I think they met at the beginning and then never
Yeah.
again. But he'd been like, you've been talking like this is his rival. Professor Oak is just like, well, my grandson Gary has caught 40 Pokemon at this point, just like absolutely just dunking on Ash. And so Ash is just like furiously mad, and everyone's being so grumpy. And then throughout the whole thing, Diglets are just being chaotic and going Diglett dig, Diglett dig, Diglett dig, and just going around just having fun as everyone's just like failing so hard. And then Gary drops the amazing fact that Diglets can move at the speed of light. And I'm just like, Pokemon, what are you doing?
Dragonites can move 2 times the speed of light. 3.
But like, we're all making these weird Pokemon sounds, which will probably sound crazy to people that have never watched it. But the Pokemon yell their names, and it's hilarious and super cute. And I could only imagine being the voice actor who's asked to yell Pokemon names for an hour for these episodes to get done.
Ash being voiced by a girl explains a lot about me as a person today.
A lot of our childhood cartoons, all of the voice actors were female because they're playing young children and young kids. I think one of the craziest ones for me was like Tommy Pickles, like Rugrats, which was another option for this episode.
Man.
Yeah.
I think is almost maybe the same voice actor, like Bart Simpson. A lot of these, I think the Fairly Odd Parents, they're all female. They're all yelling in that sort of opposite falsetto type voice.
Yeah.
And of course, the same goes with a lot of anime even now. Like I feel like more so in watch a Disney Channel show, Cartoon Networks, they're getting more and more like actual kids. But a lot of anime English dubbed stuff is always like a girl, a female voice actress.
Well, then you get the Steven Universe effect, where if it's going to be something that's long lasting, like Pokemon is, you get the kids grow out of their role, and if you're going to be a 10-year-old in a coma for like 25 years, then that doesn't work.
Most shows just keep recasting. And And Steven Universe is the exception to that rule, which is really cool because not only was he able to continue doing the Steven voice, but also like they were able to then do the movie and Steven Universe Future and have him grow up, like have the character grow up, which is so great. So,
and he had to have vocal training because when your voice cracks and your voice matures, you don't know how to use your body anymore. So he had vocal training during that time as well, which is super cool. But anyway, back to Pokemon. I've always wondered if I could play Ash someday, like, you know, just like
do a fan dub.
A fan dub? Oh my god! Just get the wrong words everywhere. Pikachu, go! Gary, I told you to shut up.
That's actually pretty good.
Professor Oak, I don't care that Gary's far superior to me. I'm gonna do it anyway. Just you watch. I'll get pity from everyone. Everyone!
He does sort of yell all of his lines, doesn't he?
Yes.
Especially towards the beginning of the show.
You know, I found it just in general, I found this show much more charming than I originally thought I was going to find it.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I thoroughly enjoyed, like, I would legit just put this on if I'm, you know, probably doing something else. I'm not going to like in depth watch it probably, but like, it's a really fun show. So I see why, you know, as a kid, you know, if I had, you know, been more exposed to it as a kid, I probably would have really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's such a classic. And as much as I see the things that are wrong with it, you know, as an adult, I have such a nostalgia for it. And I honestly think I might start putting it in the background more as well, because I've learned as I've gotten older that it's much easier for me to do drawing or to do crafts or things like that if I have a TV show on the background that I don't need to pay attention to. And Pokemon really fits that bill.
Yeah, Pokemon is so huge that you can really engage with it how you like.
Yeah.
And so, like most of my engagement is always through the games. And so I'm always just like, when's the next game coming out? When are these games coming out? Like, I want to play and like be the main character really in the Pokemon universe. And that's kind of how I've engaged with Pokemon throughout the years and whatnot. But like, you know, putting it on the background is a different way. I never played Pokemon Go, but I know it went huge. And so like, there's a lot of people that were introduced to Pokemon through that and still play it and still love it. And people that are like, I'm gonna buy the next console just because there's a Pokemon game on it, like me.
Well, and like, it's interesting because you're right. Like, I engaged in Pokemon much more through the TV shows and then through the games and the trading cards and such. And because that's how I always engaged in it, Pokemon Go was such a big thing for me. I was working in Mall of America at the time, and after hours on Sunday, the shops usually closed at like 7, and then there would be open time before the restaurants closed at like 10 or whatever. And there would be roving gangs of Pokemon trainers throughout Mall of America going to the Pokestops. And we would just look at each other and then yell at each other from across the way. And it was the most social phenomenon, like nerdy social phenomenon that has ever happened to me in my life. It was so surreal. And it was just so much fun. And I was giddy in doing this. And I got picked up by a roving gang of Pokemon trainers to come with them. And we'd be like, oh, did you see this? Here, quick, over here, 5 feet away from you, over here. It was just so much fun. Because I was able to kind of be a part of that mystical world, you know, that magical world of Pokemon. Finally.
Really bringing it to life.
When there's Google Glass out more regularly and stuff, I would love to have a VR version, like a virtual reality. There's literally a Butterfree outside of my window, or you know, it's when you have your glasses on, you have your Pikachu that you can see, you know, that's hanging out in your room or something. And I think that would be so fun. It makes me so happy to think about, you know?
Yeah, the possibilities. Who knows? Pokemon obviously has, touched a lot of people and is an important part of a lot of people's childhoods. And I just like a few things about it that should be pretty obvious. Like, it's one of the first anime to gain mainstream media attention in the US. And so it definitely should be recognized for that. And just helping to push the, popularity of anime, having it actually be on TV, and having such a mainstream success, really kind of helped the anime industry in the West as a whole. And Pokemon really is considered one of the most successful, or the most successful game series adaptation of all time. And a credit where it's due, like just the Pokemon company in general, like they have a very strict schedule about when games and shows and episodes and merchandise and everything is coming out. Like they are I honestly they like rival Disney in like just their merchandise ability, and their their content scheduling is so specific. And yeah, so I just thought like that's just really cool. And like you can tell like they've taken the success of Pokemon and done well with it, and it's just really cool to see. So
I don't know if it's because of how I was raised or because I'm such a fan, but I feel like Pokemon did such a better job. Well, not better, but they've done a really good job of merchandising without overdoing it. I feel like oftentimes Disney can feel like they're hitting you over the head with Frozen or Moana or, things like that. But Pokemon really, I feel like it really does a good job of riding the line of just enough.
Well, I think it goes back to that you can engage in it however you want. And like every single person has a different favorite Pokemon. And so they're not like, hey, everyone buy your Pikachu plushie. They're like, hey, there's 898 Pokemon, and every single Pokemon is going to be someone's favorite, and so they diversify so well.
Here's a consideration. Is it that Pokemon isn't as much in your face, or is it just that Disney only blasts specific things like all at once, and Pokemon has just always been there in the background and is
They're
pushing
lurking.
just as hard?
They're lurking.
They're always there looking in the corner.
Well, it might be that they're a Japanese company too, and Disney is here. I look for different Pokemon stuff, and half the stuff that I find is in Japanese, and cute little kawaii sort of pens and markers and plushes and things like that, and then half the stuff is, here in America that costs way less because you don't have to pay for shipping.
That is very valid, and one of the things to recognize, like, and just anime content in general, like you go to a supermarket in Japan, you're gonna see like Levi on like dish soap, so like Levi Ackerman on like whatever cleaning supplies, but
he is a cleaner, isn't he?
He is part of his thing. I always see those online. I'm like, that's hilarious. And obviously, it's not the same saturation internationally, but yeah, it's fascinating. So that's a good point.
Well, speaking of content scheduling as well, though, Pokemon Snap comes out April 30th for all you really excited. And we talked about this in the last Pokemon episode a year ago.
And it's coming. It's coming.
Did you have Pokemon Snap?
Oh, I played it at friends' houses and stuff because I couldn't play video games as a kid. But
I played it at a Blockbuster. Because they had a demo at a Blockbuster. That's what I remember of Pokemon Snap, because I only had a Game Boy, right? Mm. So yeah, I'm kind of I make my own money now.
Yes,
and it's for Switch, right?
Yep, it's gonna be
I have
Switch,
one of those,
and you're gonna have motion control, and it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, that's so exciting! Okay.
All right. Well, I'll have to have you both back on to talk about Pokemon Snap then.
Yes. Yes.
You can tell me all the stories of taking pictures of cute Pokemon.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Here's my last question. What would you say to people who haven't watched it?
Do it. Start anywhere.
Start anywhere. That's good advice.
I think what I would say is that it's such a classic. So I definitely watch it. Know that there are things that are old and haven't aged, but there are so many things that have aged well.
Absolutely. Well said, both of you. And thank you, Brynn and Nathan, for taking over my podcast today.
Oh no, you know what this means, Nathan.
Team Rocket is blasting up again!
Thank you so much for listening. Our music is provided by Purple Planet Music, and the art is done by myself. You can find me on Instagram at CandorDraw. Feel free to email us at fanimatedpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook at Fanimatedpodcast. Thank you, Brynn and Nathan, for geeking out with me this week, and we'll be back next week with a new What You Watchin' episode. In the meantime, stay tuned and stay animated. Yeah, I'm not even going to try pronounce the Japanese. Maybe I will try. Nope. Nope.
Dip that toe in the water and you were like,
little too hot.
Cold.
Oh, I went hot. You went cold?
You know, you're yes and I'm no. You're in and I'm out. You're up and I'm down.
Hey, Brynn, you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Waving in the wind.
Wanting to start again? Oh, we should quit yelling lyrics back at each other. We did that at the top. We should be done with it.
I don't know. It's a good bit.
Guys, I need to have you both on the show more often.
You say that now, and tomorrow when you're trying to edit this, you're like, I am never having Nathan and Brynn on the show together again.